Well said.
I call Brett Hudson.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. It's with pleasure I rise to support the Sale and Supply of Alcohol, Display of Low Alcohol Beverages and Other Remedial Matters Amendment Bill. For the benefit of the member that's just taken his seat, the bill is very carefully and clearly pitched at being a small remedial bill to address a couple of issues that arose that hadn't been considered in the last set of reforms. It's not intended to be a major reform or review of the sale and supply of alcohol. So it's no great surprise then that it just does what it says it's going to do. And if Mr O'Rourke can't quite fathom that, then I'm afraid he's beyond our help. For another member who spoke a little before, Mr Speaker, for his benefit, he said that he felt that this was going through a long process in order to achieve some small things. Well, I have some advice or some suggestions for Mr Farfoy too. If he thinks this is a long and involved process to make a couple of small changes, he could help by just taking much shorter calls. The quality of content would be the same and the time would be much less. So, Mr Speaker, this bill will simply address a couple of unforeseen consequences of the earlier reforms. Those earlier reforms haven't actually made any negative changes around the supply of those low alcohol beverages. It's just that, unfortunately, it has meant that they couldn't be displayed or promoted in the alcohol section of the establishment, let's say the supermarket, where the law demands that the other alcoholic beverages must be sold. For instance, at the moment, if an organisation really wanted to, they could place the mead or the low alcohol wine along with the vegetables. Now, I for one don't normally make an association between a mead and a Swede. A Swede and a mead, I see no need, but I do think that it is absolutely irresponsible. I think it is somewhat unnecessary. I think it's absolutely right, sir, that those low alcohol beverages should in fact be restricted to the same area of the supermarket or liquor store as the other alcoholic beverages. So I think it's a very sensible move to tighten it up in that sense. But I will remind the House that although there were some unintended consequences of the earlier reforms, they haven't led to those beverages being more accessible, just perhaps being displayed in the wrong area. So I look forward to the passage of this bill through the House, the much shorter calls from Mr Farfoy and his colleagues, and that way it'll be wrapped up a lot sooner. Sir, I commend this bill to the House.
Thank God we're free. The next